Buenos días y bienvenidos a todos. Hello and welcome to everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shearer, and I am the Spiritual Director and Founding Minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to join us for the live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and the password, or check on our website, www.cslpv.org, on the weekly talk section. Today is Sunday, October 15th, 2023. We are continuing with our annual theme, which is Living Out Loud, and this month's topic, which is Playing with Paradox. The topic for this week is Shaking Up Our Worldview. So we recently had Thanksgiving Day celebrated in Canada and anywhere there are Canadians, as we celebrated it here as well. And I know for sure there are many things to be thankful and grateful for. I'll explain more of that later. But at this time, I'd like to truly welcome everyone, including those that are new to our teaching and to our center here in Puerto Vallarta, whether you are here on the Zoom call live or watching the replay at a later time. Here we teach a philosophy, and we honor all faiths, all traditions. So whatever path you are on, know that it is the right one for you. No matter what your background is, please know that everyone is welcome here, and we value each and every one of you. So as I mentioned, we teach a philosophy called the Science of Mind, and it's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom. We offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth, and we honor diversity in all aspects so that we can see and appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts to create the Science of Mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the Science of Mind teaching, he had replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. Each week, we offer a service with an inspirational message. And we are now meeting Sunday afternoon at 12 p.m., as well as on our Zoom meetings. So whichever meeting you attend, please hang out with us after the service for some great conversation with like-minded people. And if you would like to have a one-on-one connection for a spiritual mind treatment to assist you with emotions or change or whatever it is that you are experiencing in life or would like to experience more of, please connect with me. And if you would like to commit to being a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta for this current year or the upcoming year, or if you would like to be on our board of trustees, please contact us as well so that we can send you the current forms. I'd also like to remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. And if you're interested in learning more about the Science of Mind teaching, we will be offering some more courses later this year. Currently, we have postponed our Practitioner 2 studies, but if there are more students that are required and interested in taking this course, please let me know so that we can arrange a new start date and time. We also have some interesting workshops coming up later this year, very soon, in fact. So please connect with me to find out more details or go to our Facebook page, our website page for more details. And if there's a specific course, workshop, or book study that you are interested in, please let me know so that we can plan for these as well. So now, as we do each week, let's together review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. We have a grand purpose here each week, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. We do this by means of our vision, creating the life you desire. And this is supported by our mission to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. So this month, we have been discussing the paradox. And the journey of paradox calls us to curiosity and willingness to stay in the question rather than to know the answer. This uncertainty leads to vulnerability, which can be challenging. Luckily, there are tools we can use along the way to remember that playfulness is the key, even in the midst of challenges. So yes, paradox calls us to be both curious and vulnerable. And in our society, we are often taught that knowing and being right is more important than curiosity. We're also taught that we should only show the best parts of ourselves to the world, giving people the social media highlights reel rather than the behind the scenes mess that often exists. Yet playing with paradoxes offers us the ability to stay open to many perspectives, to not know, and to be vulnerable and uncertain. Approaching the unanswerable questions of the universe with playfulness provides us with a unique opportunity to simply be without needing to be right or even know what right is. Ernest Holmes wrote this: "Now we must open up the doors of our consciousness and expand and expand and expand, and no longer think in terms of the backyard lot, but in the terms of the infinite nature, in the terms of the universe." So the science of mind is a spiritual philosophy founded by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And in this, our ability to stay curious and vulnerable. Ernest Holmes' ferocious appetite for knowledge and understanding led him on quite the incredible journey of curiosity that we will continue to benefit from. By staying open at the top and looking at many paradoxes of life and our science of mind teaching, we are continuing Ernest's legacy and journey in a new way, allowing ourselves to utilize this teaching to stay in the question rather than to know the answer. Thomas Moore, in Care of the Soul, said this: "Care of the soul means not taking sides when there is a conflict at a deep level. It may be necessary to stretch the heart wide enough to embrace contradiction and paradox." So paradoxes naturally leads us to a place of curiosity. When we let go of our attachment to one way or the other and open to a place of recognizing the benefits and possibilities of both and, we can then approach challenges, obstacles, and problems with a sense of curiosity. Holding a paradox mindset is the key to curiosity, allowing ourselves to step into a place of high investment and low attachment. We want to be wholly passionate and invested in the solution with low attachment to what that solution may look like. Holding this middle way can be challenging because our inclination is to choose a side or an option and then move quickly in that direction. But staying open and curious keeps us in the potentiality that paradox allows. In the double slit experiment, quantum physicists discovered that electrons behave as a wave with infinite possibilities available until observed. At the point of observation, the wave collapses into a particle and follows a single track of existence. Just like these electrons, our goal is to use curiosity to stay in possibility and potentiality for as long as possible. So last week, we were hit by Lydia, a Category 4 hurricane. And some people weren't taking the warning seriously and were out on the streets partying. Others took all precautions to be prepared. At times, it was pretty scary, listening to the wind whistling through the cracks of the sliding doors and the sounds of flying debris hitting the windows and the sides of the building, and the roar of the rivers running along every street, carrying debris along with it. And then it was quiet. It was natural curiosity that brought many people to peek out their doors to see what happened and if the storm had passed. Everyone had their phones in hand to video the event. If not for this curiosity, many of us wouldn't have seen what was going on in our own neighborhoods and those around us. Similar to the storm chasers that follow the tornadoes in the United States, aware of the potential danger, but curious to watch the events unfolding. I'd like to share this story from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. He wrote, "We were up early, eager to walk the botanical gardens of Montreal, where they have the largest bonsai collection in the world outside of Asia. We strolled toward the Chinese temple garden, a lush yet simple retreat from the streets that covered acres, a place of renewed, originally constructed in the 1600s in China and moved stone by stone to Montreal in 1990. As we approached the massive gate, it was locked. I panicked, ready to demand entry after driving 400 miles from another country to see this. Robert calmly, like the Oriental sage himself, treated the situation as if it was a koan, a riddle to be entered unto its very assumed shifted, until its very assumptions shifted. He began to walk the outer wall of the garden. It seemed insurmountable. It was frustrating. He kept walking slowly along the high wall. Since the garden stretched for acres, I wondered if we would have to walk its entire perimeter. The thought made me cranky. He kept strolling. Suddenly, when we had walked farther than was originally in our view, the walls disappeared. It turned out that the garden had no walls, save for the facade at the entrance. So we simply walked through the open grass to a path that welcomed us. How many thresholds that seemed blocked or barred or locked only seemed so from their initial viewing. How many opportunities for true living are barrier-free if we can only remove ourselves and our minds from their traditional points of entry. And this is what Ernest Holmes said in Discover a Richer Life. What we must avoid however, is the confusion which arises from a belief in final revelations, from the belief that all truth is at last discovered, or that some one person or some one system of thought has delivered the last word. There are no finalities in any science, any philosophy, or any religion. Through the continual emergence of the creative principle, any last finality proves to be but the beginning of a new creative series. This eternal spiral, finding its base in the everlasting reality, will never cease to emerge. So staying open and remaining curious and neutral is a very vulnerable space because it is the commitment to staying uncertain. The same as when the neighbors all stepped outside in the middle of a Category 4 tornado. The challenge of vulnerability is that it holds within it a paradox. In Atlas of the Heart, Brene Brown says, vulnerability is the first thing we look for in other people, and the last thing we want to show them about ourselves. We immediately look for and are drawn to people who are open and vulnerable, willing to show the deepest, messiest parts of themselves to us. Yet we struggle to show those parts to others, feeling that they somehow represent a failure on our part. Releasing our self-judgment and getting curious about the paradoxes that show up in our lives allows us to explore those aspects of ourselves that feel vulnerable. And Albert Einstein wrote this: the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. As mentioned in our story earlier, the Zen Buddhists use koans, nonsensical and paradoxical statements, riddles, questions, and stories that open students up to what is called the great doubt. Koans shed light on the limitations of logic, reasoning, and thinking. This meditation practice opens us up to experiencing reality rather than trying to understand it. Don Dianata, author of See for Yourself, Send Mindfulness for the Next Generation, explains it this way. The koan serves as a surgical tool used to cut into and then break through the mind of the practitioner. Koans aren't just puzzles that your mind figures out suddenly and proclaims, aha, the answer is 3. They wait for you to open enough to allow the spare space necessary for them to enter into your depths, the inner regions beyond knowing. Some examples of koans include 2 hands clap and there is a sound. What is the sound of 1 hand clap? Without thinking of good or evil, show me your face before your mother and father were born. And 2 monks are arguing about a flag. One says, the flag is moving. The other says, the wind is moving. A third walks by and says, not the wind, not the flag, the mind is moving. Koans are a great way to play with paradoxes, to open ourselves up to curiosity and vulnerability while exploring the edges of what we know and what is possible. Guy Finley said this: it's a paradox of the true spiritual path, but the more conscious we become of what limits us, the more limitless becomes our life. And so opening ourselves up to the paradox mindset means being willing to play in vulnerability with curiosity and uncertainty. It can be challenging to remain in the space of questioning that comes with life and living in possibility and potentiality rather than knowing uncertainty. Luckily for us, there are many tools that have been provided to us to continue to practice having a paradox mindset and remaining open at the top. Using Zen Buddhist poems allows us to look at the polarities and paradoxes in our life from a different perspective and to form a third way rather than getting stuck in only one viewpoint. And this provides the ability to stay open at the top as we explore the greater truths that await us as we continue to play with paradoxes. And I'll leave you with this quote for today. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. And that leads us to our affirmation for the week. I am curious and vulnerable as I explore paradoxes in my life. And so now it's our time for mindfully giving and the financial support of our spiritual home. We rely on your support to continue our center here in Puerto Vallarta so that we can continue to offer you this powerful teaching of the science of mind. We bless the financial gifts that you give today. Every donation is greatly appreciated, whether it's $5 or $50 or just the cost of a cup of coffee. Your contributions are circulated and our tithing goes to our greater organization, which reaches out globally as well as locally. We also tithe to a local women's shelter to assist women and children that have left an abusive home and allows them an opportunity to become grateful for the assistance to become productive and successful members of their community. Donations can be made either using PayPal or Tithely on our website, www.cslpv.org. You'll find donate buttons on both the landing page and on the page for the weekly talks. Alternatively, if you still like to write out a paper check, you can do so by addressing it to CSLPV number 403 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, B1Y 8M1. And now, if you would like to join me in our offertory affirmation. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and sharing this time together. And let's continue with practicing peace, especially now during this time of upset and war in the Middle East, in the Gaza area. So we can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words, our prayers, our actions can create ripples of peace all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. So let's allow peace to begin with us. Be kind to one another, to your neighbors, to your loved ones alike, and be considerate of everyone. We don't know what each other has been going through. May peace and love be with you. Blessings to all. Namaste.